Well, that was all very exciting, wasn't it? My name's Karl Dixon, and I've been producing comics and cartoons for over 30 years. And when ENDEX asked me if I'd like to come on board and work on a comic strip called The Razzman, I simply couldn't resist the opportunity. For many years I have worked with Clive Ward, the writer and genius behind Razzman, and many, many others. And I've loved his wildly dark, often dubious and direct sense of fun and humour. Together we've collaborated on a number of projects and have all caused so much hilarity for us both. But on this video, I'm going to be introducing you to the titular star of the ENDEX comic strip, the Razzman himself. We're also going to see how I create this overbearing, decibel-crunching big gun of the parade ground, from a blank piece of paper and a pencil to the finished character, all inked and coloured up and ready to go onto the comics page. I'll also be talking a little bit about this vociferous force of nature and how exactly he came to be. Well, this music is a bit jollier, wouldn't you say? Well, I would. But I'm not sure what the Razzman would say. But whatever it was that he was going to say, I'm sure his thoughts on the matter would be expletive-laden in their inception and high-octane in their delivery, because that's the kind of guy he is. But before we get into him and his somewhat dubiously labelled personality, let's go through the process of how I actually create him. So for those of you who have been ignoring my inane witterings and just looking at the pretty pictures unfolding, you will have noticed that the Razzman is made up of shapes, mainly circles, ovals and rectangles, as in his legs. I do this so that no matter how I draw the Razzman, so long as I follow this method, it will always look like the Razzman, no matter what angle he is drawn from. And then once the shapes have been put down, that's when I start filling the picture in with his features, his lapels, rolled up sleeves and the all-important beret, because when it comes to producing art on a specific theme and to readers who know what they're talking about, you have to get it right. For example, much to Clive's frustration, I was forever placing the paste stick in whatever hand I thought it looked good in, and his beret was often flopping to the wrong side. Me? I was going for the flow and artistic flair, whereas Clive, the party pooper, was going for a smaller mailbag of complaints. He won. A bit like the Razzman, he shouted at me a lot, and I spent many hours in the ENDEX glasshouse for misbehaving cartoonists. So, what about the Razzman? Is he based on anyone? And why all the foul language and insults hurled at the same poor, hapless little squaddy? First off, the Razzman is made up of a composite of every Razzman Clive has encountered over his years as a young, fresh, raw recruit, and a few he's picked up from his fellow sufferers along the way. Fair warning, by the way, the music is about to go extremely loud and dramatic as we move from the pencil stage onto the ink stage. You have been warned. See what I mean? Anyway, back to the Razzman and his insults. You see, Clive's been collecting Razzman insults, and he's been doing it for many, many years. And when it came to writing the scripts, he just packed them with as many genuine Razzman outbursts as he could fit into the 20-odd panels of a 2-page Razzman comic story. So each insult you read is an insult that has actually been hurled by one Razzman or another to an innocent little squaddy somewhere around the world. So, is he based on any one particular person? I guess they'd mostly be based on the ones that Clive has encountered, but not all the insults can be attributed to one overbearing ape with a paste stick. And I guess the last question has been answered by the previous two. But on the point of his language, Razzmen should be given their own section in the Oxford English Dictionary. They're certainly not scholars, but in inventing creative words to hurl as insults, they are true wordsmiths. And oh look, the music's gone soft and twiddly again. So I guess that's as good a place as any to end this little video. I hope you've enjoyed the picture creation and learnt a little bit more about the Razzman himself. And now all that's left for you to do is to go along to www.endexcomic.com and order yourself a copy and enjoy the Razzman as much as myself and Clive have enjoyed producing him. Thank you and goodbye for now.